Hey Basic Travelers, and welcome back to Travel Tips Tuesday. This week we get into the art of the reconsideration phone call. Let's paint a scenario. You apply for a new credit card and you were denied, or at least not immediately approved. Your next step should then be the reconsideration phone call to the issuing bank. This call is a way to get a second chance at a card application and add a bit more personal touch to your application with a friendly agent over the phone that you couldn't convey during your application online. During the reconsideration call, the agent and you will go over a few factors, but it's ultimately your opportunity to control the narrative for a few minutes. First, ask them for the status of your application. It may have just been pending. If not, and you were in fact denied, try to get into the details on why. Tell the agent things like how the card features would work great for you, and if you have multiple lines of credit with that bank, tell them that you'd be willing to shift them around to make this card work. Kindness definitely matters, so be polite as possible, and do not mention anything about the new card bonus. This is a last-ditch attempt, obviously, at getting the approval you desire, but if it's done correctly, it's more successful than you may think. Here are some stories from the Basic Travel team and how we navigated them. Let's look at Lisa's story. She applied for the Hyatt card through Chase, and it took 4 phone calls for her to successfully get this card approved. Immediately when she realized she was denied, she called. But seeing as she had just recently put in a business credit card application, they denied her. Ultimately, she called back 3 more times and went through a myriad of reasons on why she couldn't be approved, from things like having too high of balances and being an authorized user on another card. And that's important because although it wasn't her card, she was reflected as a responsible party. Ultimately, she was approved when they agreed that they could shift credit from one card to another for that Hyatt card. Let's look quickly at my own scenario. I applied for an old Ritz-Carlton credit card a few years back. I was also not immediately accepted. So I called the same day, and the advisor initially informed me that I was denied due to too much outstanding credit issued by Chase Bank. This was actually a relatively easy scenario after we went into my balances and spending history and answered a few questions. I suggested shifting credit limits around similar to Lisa, and I was approved for a small credit limit. Have you had a story like this or a successful reconsideration phone call? Let us know in the comments below or in the Basic Travel 101 Facebook group. And make sure you read our article on the reconsideration phone calls as a follow-up to this piece for more helpful tips and stories. And did you like this video? Well, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you next week, Basic Travelers.